I suppose most of the people here must be familiar with our mosque. It is on Central Avenue, in the heart of the market, 276 Central Avenue, only a couple of blocks up from here. This is a new mosque. The population of the Muslim community in this area had grown, and therefore there was a need that we should have a mosque in the city of Albany. Before that, we had a one-bedroom apartment rented, and we used to use as a mosque for prayer over there. Then in 2000, we bought this building, a rundown building in a very bad shape, and we renovated it and started using as a mosque. Mosque is simply a place with 4 walls and carpet. We don't have any furniture. We kneel down on the carpet and we pray. Pray without any music, pray without any other kind of means. That is, there are no statue, no picture, no scripture even, pray by memory mostly. People who want to contemplate further, they sit down and they read the Quran or other scriptures and so on. That's what is a mosque basically. By the time we purchased this building and we were trying to establish this mosque and renovate it, Brother Yasin arrived in this community from Syria. He was a refugee from Kurdistan, the northern portion of Iraq, which we know Kurdish people are Muslims 100%, but they are of different ethnic group than Arabs. Rest of the Iraqis are Arabs. They are Shias and Sunnis, but Kurdish are Sunnis, but very different. They have a different language and different culture entirely, even though the religion is common. And normally they are very, very practicing and strong Muslims. But in Iraq, that had been the situation, and they had been fighting for some kind of homeland or independence. And Saddam Hussein's regime has been very much against them and treated them very badly and transgressed against them, etc. We know. This is the background. Brother Yasin, being an activist of one sort or the other, being a Kurd, was forced to take a refugee status under the umbrella of United Nations, and he spent a few years in Syria, Damascus, in Syria, where he went to school also, to Islamic studies, to an Islamic college, very famous college over there. And he graduated from there, he worked there, he lived with his new family and children. And then later on, it was sponsored by the United Nations refugee program. Many Kurds were sponsored under that program, and they went to several Western countries. Brother Yasin was also interested to go to Europe because that's closer to Kurdistan, and there are many Kurds in those countries, and his interest was to go because he knew some friends over there. Contrary to that, he did not know anybody in United States at that time, and therefore his interest was to go over there. But somehow, because of the United Nations selection scheme, his lot came to come to United States, and one church from Colony sponsored him. Meaning by when United Nations selects some refugees, normally they don't pay for everything. Sometimes they give some kind of help, and they help processing the papers of immigration or so on. Finances and other things are to be taken care of by some other agencies. So one church in Colony sponsored Brother Yasin, his family, his 3 children at that time, and brought him here in Albany in October or November 1909. That's the same time. In December, we bought this property, and we started renovating it. Since he had already become the part of our community here in Albany, he was living in Albany and was praying in the one-bedroom apartment I mentioned to you. We started knowing him, and he was the person who had gone to a religious college. Nobody else in our community had that knowledge and opportunity, even though he did not know English, but our prayers are in Arabic, and he knew Arabic, so there was no problem. So he was a person who was very, very committed and was present all the time in the mosque and in the prayer, and he was a capable person, and he devoted the next 6 months in renovating this building voluntarily, putting all his effort, whatever he could have, his effort, his time, without accepting any compensation. He refused to take any charity or any compensation from the mosque or the community or anyone else, etc. So when the building was ready after 6 months, sometimes in August 2000, he was the natural person to take care of the mosque. And therefore, since he did not know English at that time, we were very hesitant to appoint him as an imam, because we thought he will not be able to give sermon, he will not be able to counsel the local people, he will not be able to resolve the problems within the community, etc., etc. So we asked him to act as an imam for prayer purposes. And as soon as he picks up enough English, we will consider whether he could be appointed as imam, or we might find another person, or we will go taking your help without being an imam or so. But he picked up English very fast, so much so that he was able to communicate with people. For religious purposes, there is a set of standard language, mostly terminology is used in Arabic or something everybody understands, knows, so it was not a problem. Communication was the problem, but he picked up very fast, and therefore we appointed him as an imam. And we thought with time he will improve, he will understand, and things will be fine or so. So that is his background. That's how he became imam. There should not be any suspicion that he came under some kind of plan or conspiracy, and some government sponsored this mosque, and the mosque was established and he was sent under a plan to have terrorist activity or control the mosque or etc. It's absolutely no relation, and whatever I gave you the picture, it is the picture because I am the one who looked for the property, I am the one who bought the property, I am the one who renovated the property. Of course, many people of the community helped financially and otherwise, but solely I am the person who took care of all these things. I am the person who is in charge of the mosque from the first day when it was bought until now. And I am responsible for his appointment. I have been responsible for his salary and taking care of other things. So I know each and every detail and mentality of Yasin, his thoughts and his ideas and his ideology, and what he meant, what he knew, what he wanted. He is not an easy person. He has a very strong convictions, and I disagreed with him on many aspects, and we had problems and difficulties. He has been very non-compromising on certain interpretations of the religion and its application and so on. But at the same time, he is a very generous, very helpful person. He can sacrifice his skin to help somebody and to provide any kind of comfort or help, financial or otherwise, and do anything possible. And that has been actually the problem which brought him in difficulty over here. Because in this mosque, this is a mosque in town, people are new, immigrants, Many people are local, mostly Afro-American, who converted in prison system, are on the street, poor people, they don't have good resources, they don't have good education, and so on. So they are in constant help to resolve the problems among themselves with their family members, help financially to have money to pay their car repair, to the paying their bills and rent. Many immigrants who come over here have no money and they want to do business, they want to have job and something. Who is the person who will help them? They don't know the system here. They don't know to go to commercial chambers or business chambers to request them how to start a business and what can I do and so on. These people don't know. What they know is the mosque, because that is the source where the people come from their own country or from their own background. And the most natural person in the mosque is the imam, because he is there. And imam is very special in terms of Yasin, because he has been literally living in this mosque. His house is only half a block from there. He used to go only eat and sleep. Rest of his time is in the mosque and where people come. And because of his generosity, because of his commitment, because of his sincerity, he had been so much accepted and so much loved and so much respected and so much sought after that any problem occurs, go to Brother Yasin. And therefore, Brother Yasin used to do. If he has any money in his pocket, he used to give them. If not, then he used to ask me if I can give personally. And he used to ask somebody else to give personally, and so on and so forth. For a person like you who are born and raised over here, when you think that he witnessed alone, you might think naturally and honestly that really there must be something. Otherwise, why somebody will witness alone? But here is the person who is witnessing alone every day in the mosque. Every day. He had taken loan from me to buy his house. He has taken loans from other friends to do that. He had arranged about 2 dozens of loans from me. Many of them I did not even get back. So, witnessing the loan has been part of his life. Anything, anytime, anybody needs, go to Brother Yasin. Some people come and they say their mother's burial is there. He does not have any, he comes to me. And I say, well, I want to find out first if he has a mother, or he had a mother, or really there is a burial. And then he used to become angry with me. He said that our religion says that if somebody asks for you, you provide, if you can. Don't ask questions. I said, no. I am in America for long. And it has happened many times. And this mother's funeral is a real story I'm giving. And he became angry with me and he went to other people, business people, 3, 4, and he asked 100 from here, 200 from here, and gave him $600 or $700 to this guy that, okay, go and bury your mother. And 2 weeks later, we caught that guy again somewhere, because his mother was still not buried. He was in another mosque, and so on and so forth. So this was Brother Yasin. Therefore, when something came with these 2 individuals, by the way, Brother Musharraf is very, very well known and close to him, because the 1-bedroom apartment I'm talking about was in front of Brother Musharraf's store. And Brother Musharraf was in charge of paying the rent and getting that place cleaned and prayer conducted and something. And when Yasin came to Albany, he was the first person to meet with him and sit with him and eat with him and etc. So they were very close.